More breaking news coming out of London's High Court. Prince Harry's hacking lawsuit against the news group newspaper Rupert Murdoch's publishing empire might actually now be on the brink of collapse. Let me explain more. Hey up everyone, it's me, Stef, the Alter Nerd, your nerdy alternative, and welcome to The Dust, the Daily Nerd, where I break down the royal news and gossip of the day that's pretty much caught me eye. And oh my goodness, yeah, let's jump into this, shall we? Because more breaking news from the High Court. Prince Harry's hacking lawsuit against Rupert Murdoch, the news group newspapers, is on the brink of collapse, guys. This is the latest that has just come out of the High Court. Prince Harry's lawyers, they asked for a third delay, guys. And so here, Imogen James, reporting from the High Court, is saying that the lawyers have been refused permission to appeal by the judge. Mr. Justice Fancourt won't let them appeal his addition to delay the proceedings further. But now the lawyers can go to the Court of Appeal against this. The court has risen and exited, and it's likely this is the last of the action in the Rolls Building courtroom until tomorrow. So how did we get to this point where Hazard's team is like, we need a third delay? The judge is like, hell no, we're now getting on with it. They've tried to appeal it. Judge is like, nope. And it's now going to go, looks like, to the Court of Appeal. How has Prince Harry's hacking lawsuit just gone onto the brink of collapse? Let me explain. And so, back at 2 o'clock UK time, the judge started proceedings again. They were back in the High Court. They expected the opening of Prince Harry's case. They said there at the time it's now being delayed for unusually the entire morning. We've learned enough before the adjournment together that both sides are talking to each other. So speculation of, a potential agreement, a potential settlement. Yeah, this is reasonable speculation, guys. And so, yeah, they're essentially saying, look, this is the media talk this afternoon. We'll wait to see if we find out what's been going on. And so a couple of minutes later, Hazard's lawyer, David Sherburn, then asks for a third delay. Asks for more time for behind-the-scenes talks with the agreement of Newsgroup newspapers barrister Anthony Hudson KC. Telling the judge, quote, having spoke with Mr. Hudson, we'd like to ask for more time. We don't do that lightly, but we do believe that a couple of hours more today may be productive for the overall timetable of the trial. There's only so much I can say. Mr. Hudson and I would not be asking for more time if there was not a potentially good prospect of saving more time. In other words, guys, bit of conspiracy theory, whatever, we're talking behind the scenes. There's a potential settlement. This could actually save the court a heck of a lot of time, i.e. 8 to 10 weeks, guys, of time, right? And so Hudson on the other side for Newsgroup newspaper tells the court that the real issue for the delays is time differences. And so that essentially means that potentially Prince Harry is not in the UK and he's communicating with everyone involved from America, which, when you look at LA time, I think it's like 8-10 hours behind the UK, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, Hudson then said the opportunity that is presenting itself today may be less attractive once the trial has started, though. Interesting. So here, the third delay request is submitted to the judge. The judge refuses it, saying that he's listened very carefully to what has been said, understands there's a settlement dynamic at play, and this might change throughout the case, but he's not persuaded as it seems like a very odd time for them to come to terms on a settlement. Each of the parties has a substantial legal team, the Justice Fancourt says, and he's not satisfied that this is anything to do with the time difference. He adds there was ample time this morning to resolve their differences, which they've not done so. I see no reason to change my mind about that, so he doesn't grant any further adjournment, any further delay. So Hazard's weak excuse of, the time difference, this is why we're asking for the delays now, is absolute bull. Like Justice Fancourt said, look, you had more time this morning before this trial actually started to come to an agreement, this, that, and the other. You haven't done so. So now we're cracking on. Done and dusted. If anything, to be fair, Hazza has had months, years even, to come to a settlement before it even came to this point. But he's really, really taking it now down to the wire. Now, the judge granted a final 10-minute delay because Anthony Hudson KC asked the judge to go into chambers legally for kicking out the public so that he can have a private word with the judge and pass on information that he cannot currently divulge. Mr. Justice Fancourt wasn't having any of it, saying, look, in this of all cases, I'm not going to start having secret chambers about what is going on, but granted a final 10-minute delay. And as he does so, has a solicitor dashes out of court with a colleague. And so now that there's confusion in all of this, because court resumed, but it was very, very brief. And so the press in the overflow room, it's been described here, were very confused as to what was going on. They did chuckle after the judge denied a third delay. Anthony Hudson KC stepped up and immediately pleaded for another break. And so they had another 10-minute break. And then at this point, Sherburn then returns to court saying that he's been instructed on behalf of both claimants, so both Hazza and Tom Watson. So this is the first confirmation we've got, direct, absolute, that Prince Harry is asking for a delay in all of this, right? And so, yeah, he's being instructed on behalf of both claimants for leave to appeal against Mr. Justice Fancourt's decision not to allow another adjournment, saying he thinks such an adjournment would be sensible and appropriate course and the time is likely to be highly productive. Hudson says that NGN joins the application for leave to appeal, says that a very substantial sum becomes payable if the trial starts, saying we're very close, there's an issue with time and gaining instructions. It's not the only factor. We do say for the sake of an hour and a half, the amount of money that's going to be involved if the trial starts this afternoon rather than tomorrow, it would be unreasonable to the overriding objective not to adjourn. Mr. Justice Fancourt says that by seeking permission to go to the Court of Appeal this afternoon, they achieved the objective he has resisted, delaying the case until tomorrow, saying we take no pleasure in seeking leave to appeal, but the level of seriousness which we take this because of the very serious cost implications. And so the delay was denied, but the court leaves anyway. The lawyers have refused permission to appeal by the judge. Mr. Justice Fancourt won't let them appeal his decision to delay the proceedings, but now the lawyers can go to the Court of Appeal against this and try and go over Mr. Justice Fancourt's head to buy them more time before the trial actually starts. And so, yeah, that is the end of that. What just happened? So here's a little bit of an overview after all that breakdown. So Imogen James says, if things weren't confusing before, they certainly are now. Yeah, right? And so here, essentially, the lawyers got what they wanted. They asked for a delay. Mr. Justice Fancourt said, no, we're not delaying any further. I'm not going to give you a third delay. We're going to proceed as usual. The lawyers have essentially found a loophole to still go on with the delay, but essentially they're now going over Mr. Justice Fancourt's head and going to the Court of Appeals to appeal Mr. Justice Fancourt's decision not to delay the court case even further. But by appealing to the Court of Appeals to try and override Mr. Justice Fancourt's decision not to delay the court case, that's pretty much a delay in itself, if that makes sense, right? And so, yeah, they won't be sitting until Wednesday morning now. So that is it. We're essentially at a point where Prince Harry has asked his lawyers to get a delay on this case to presumably now try and hammer out a settlement deal with News Group newspapers. The judge today accepted the request twice. The third request for a delay, he's rejected. And now it's still going to be delayed anyway, this case, because they're now going to the Court of Appeals to appeal Mr. Justice Fancourt's decision not to delay the court case from starting for a third time. At this point, Prince Hazard's hacking lawsuit is on the brink of collapse. It's on the brink of collapse, guys. Hazard does not want this lawsuit to go ahead. As David Sherburn has just admitted this afternoon, he has got instruction from both his clients to delay this thing, to stop it from happening. Hazard, I think, may have realised he's not going to win this one. His lawsuit is on the brink of collapse. Because do you think Mr. Justice Fancourt is going to take this lying down? Where Hazard's team is just still going to force in this delay, whether he likes it or not, by going over his head to the Court of Appeals on this one? I don't think so. In the end, I would not be surprised if Mr. Justice Fancourt just throws the whole thing out at this point and is like, look, you're wasting my time, you're wasting the court's time, piss off the lot of you. Yeah. So breaking news, guys, Prince Hazard's hacking lawsuit, as far as I'm concerned, is on the brink of collapse. What do you guys think? With that being said, if you appreciated this video and you want more, and believe me, of course there's going to be more, I'm all over Prince Hazard's current hacking lawsuit that's going through at the moment. And if you don't want to miss any of the breaking news, then make sure you subscribe to join our Alter Nerd tribe, because I'll be honest with you, help us now get to 1 million so we can also get that gold play button right there and hopefully cause a Meghan Markle meltdown on Instagram. Like, share, comment down below your opinion, conspiracy theories, whatever's. And until the next time, you guys, laters.